Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another episode of Survival of the Fittest is the soup du jour. Why is it the soup du jour? Because it's today. If you're surviving, you're here with me now. All right, y'all. I tell you what, I'm in the heart of Lake Nona. Lake Nona's so wonderful with all its lakes and its crocodiles and its birds, and it's just wonderful. It's East Orlando, and we are in one of the newest Mexican restaurants here in Lake Nona. It's Azteca de Oro. I've already had a huge meal. I'm stuffed beyond belief and feeling good because I love to be stuffed. And anyone who knows me knows that I love to eat, and eat I did. So, with Mexican food comes plenty of beer, plenty of tequila, and plenty of good times. And tonight, or wherever you may be, I'm with Carl Fiadini. And I had to say it like that because, hey, this is a real deal. Italiano, born and raised in South Florida. He's a foodie of foodies. He has a show called Walk in Talk. And you say, is he talking about walk in talking? No, it's a walk-in. It's an industry-based show that's extremely entertaining. And I'm here with Carl today. Carl, say hello to everyone in the survival sphere.
I feel like I should speak with an accent right now. I don't know. I'm Carlo. I don't know. It's, you know what I'm saying? The way you introduced me like that.
No, as it should be. This is a very international show.
Hashtag, you're killing me. All right, that's cool.
We actually speak Spanglish on this show.
True story.
And you know what's beautiful about this particular restaurant? We're outside right now, and I start to slur. You know, I do. It's a natural thing.
I'm not mad at you.
It's a natural thing.
Not mad at you.
The families are here. The lake is behind us. I saw a crocodile earlier, which reminds me of the fact that we are indeed in Florida.
He was doing the backstroke.
He was doing the backstroke. Well, I mean, after so many tequilas that I've had tonight with dinner, I think I may be doing the backstroke soon on my way to my house.
The Gator had a cocktail. And he was like, having a good time.
Gator cocktail. That's very Florida. You know, it's so chic. Florida is so chic that even the alligators live large.
They are having a good time.
You know, and I believe that we're also having a good time. And, I'm going to say it straight up. So many places in the United States right now are having a hard time. And I know we're all coming through this, and we're all getting past the Rona. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But we've all of a sudden, I believe that Florida just said no to the Rona. We kicked it out of our lives years ago, maybe about 6 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I mean, well, here in Florida, bro, we didn't really. It was, I don't know, we didn't really have it. We were open for business for so long.
Open for business?
For a long time. It was like the first 8 months was abysmal, right? Everybody shut down. Your friends are getting furloughed, fired. The restaurants are closing. But then 8 months later, things started kind of opening up. You had to go out with your mask, something over your face. And here we are now. We're raging. It's roaring over here.
Yeah, it's roaring. And, it's just a good example of why I absolutely trust and believe in our American economy. Being here in Florida, you can see it like right in front of our eyes, and it's a wonderful thing. And we're very lucky being in the restaurant business. Listen, let's just be honest. The restaurant business, all of you all know this because you're all in the biz. It's tough to make a dollar. And Florida is one of those states that allows you to go ahead and find your way to make that money in the restaurant business. It's not easy, but you know what? I'd have to say, if you're a restaurateur in Florida, anywhere in the United States, come to Florida. Because it's rocking, right or wrong. Carl, what do you think?
It's on fire here. But you know what? You know what I want? I want people who love food to come back to work. And I understand a lot of the nuances, and I don't even want to get into that conversation,
right?
Of why somebody would choose to not be back in the business. But I tell you what, this is like the time you want to go somewhere with that career in culinary specifically. Now is the time because everybody's going to want that job.
Yeah.
Or will hire you rather. You're going to get a job, and if you care about it, you're going to learn from who's there, and the people who are working right now want to be there. great time to kind of like move up in the career and make something happen for yourself.
And with the lack of people to actually work in the kitchens.
Right.
And I mean, from entry level to like big dog chefs. I mean, and I agree, it is a good time for our business. It's a tough time. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It's a tough time.
Yeah.
Even the most seasoned, worked chef is back in the kitchen, literally putting plates out.
Yeah, you're washing dishes.
Yeah, if you have to, you're going to wash dishes. It's absolutely true. And the truth of the matter is that that's not a bad thing, because you didn't get into this because you didn't want to work. This is a working man's biz. And quite frankly, if you're willing to work, the money's going to be there. And let's face it, we're all working for our scratch. We all want a little money because that's what makes our lives comfortable. And honestly, I believe right now, the scratch in the kitchen is good,
Yeah, no, for sure. You're going to definitely get, you're going to be able to negotiate your price.
Right.
And I'm talking from dish on up. I mean, you're going to negotiate a price. But I feel like if everybody comes back to work, because the truth is everyone wants to go back out and enjoy themselves, whether you're the busboy, the server, even people from the industry want to go out, right? So if that's the case, we need the people. Everybody's short staff. For the multitude of chefs that I work with on a day-to-day basis. That's the same everywhere. There isn't any help. So now's a wonderful time to get back in the business, because you're going to make more money and you have an opportunity to really advance yourself in the career. Culinarily speaking, like you're going to go somewhere.
No, I agree.
On the money too,
and make that dough.
It's not like it was, pre-2019 or 20 years ago or longer.
Hustling like a mahogany, and and it is what it is. But you're right. And you know what? It's actually an interesting time. And even with food, it's an interesting time, because there was a time where you could get away with more things in the kitchen than you can now. People are very selective about what they're willing to pay for, and they want what they want regardless, as the chef that I am and that many chefs out there believe that the entire world revolves around their culinary vision. The fact is, people want their thing, whether it be taquitos or nachos or cheese fries. We can go down the line on what's popular right now.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, you can take your pick. A chef. There's so many chefs out there right now. There's still a lot of chefs who do want to put out some pretty plates, higher end culinary, but at the end of the day, they don't have the support team to do all of that.
Right.
So what you're ending up with is, in a lot of cases, you're ending up with some lower quality ingredients that they're dressing up, in order to, make the business run based on what they have available to run that business, if that makes sense.
But at the same time, I see that as being the absolute reason for being, because way back when things weren't, because we were spoiled for a long time in America. As a culinary nation, we were spoiled by farmers and boutique butchers and what have you. We were so spoiled, and after the pandemic, it's changed. Prior to that, though, and I'm talking about way prior to that. I'm talking about when we were kids. I'm 52,
and I'm not. But I'm
definitely
not far behind.
No, and he looks great, by the way. Even if he told me he was even nearly my age, you'd say what are you, vegan? But the truth is, restaurants have changed, and food, we didn't have all that way back when. And you say to yourself, what was the reason why I was inspired to become a chef? Was because of all that. I could create with very little. And have we entered an era where chefs are expected to create wonderful things with their limited sourcing? And this is where I say to myself, is this a golden time for chefs to create, to truly claim the position of being the chef, because they are able to take something simple and light and maybe not so expensive, a secondary cut, an innard or something along those lines, and make it spectacular. This is what chefs in the old days used to have to do, in my days used to have to do, and we were spoiled for a long time. Are we going to become better as a culinary nation because of our reality today? That's my question.
No. And then yes. But no first. No first because you there's the whole pig and lipstick and, putting lipstick on that pig.
Right.
If you're, you can only juice something up so much. And at the end of the day, when you eat it, it's the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. No pun intended. What? But, yeah, no, I mean, like I said before, I think this epidemic, everything the last 2 years, I think it's creating opportunities for the people who actually want to work hard.
Right.
And I'm not saying the cats who took themselves out of the market didn't work hard. Everybody did. But the people who are here now really want to be here, in spite of all the extra work, people calling out or whatever it is, or just not having somebody, to fill a position. So I think the cats who are putting in the effort now sincerely want to do it, and I think that they, in spite of inflation and supply chain challenges, they're going to find a way to make it work. So when things do, find its way back to even a relative normalcy, then I think those people are going to really be successful and shine and make that money.
No, and that's a wonder, and that's definitely the angle. We all want that. Kitchens are kitchens. Talk to me about walk and talk, because you know what? One thing that's how we met. Mm-hmm. Actually, I did your show
twice,
right? 2 separate restaurants I've been at.
Restaurants.
Like new chef, like in the last 6 months or 7 months or about a year, right? About a year and a half.
I think so.
Yeah, at least that. But what you do on that camera, what you guys are putting out there, and what you're putting out there now, because your co-host has moved on to dealing with realities of his kitchen. You've kind of taken the lead on the show. I find you to be extremely entertaining, extremely, compelling. Your show, your subject matter. I mean, the show is amazing. Tell us a little bit about what you want to see with the show in the future, because it is definitely has a place in the future.
Well, thank you for that.
Of course.
My gracious host, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the show came about because of the hardships that we've endured for the last 2 years. When COVID came on, I was director of sales at a fairly large operation, food service distributor, and everything kind of hit the wall.
Right.
And it's, a lot of my friends in the business, chefs, clients, either, they got fired, furloughed, or their restaurant closed down, right? I mean, it was happening to everybody. We all felt, we all went through it. But it sucked to see everybody's motivation in life just get sucked out of them.
Rough.
So the long and short is, the very first sponsor that with us, Don Pablo Coffee Growers and Roasters, I called Darren, he's the owner of the company, and he has retail connections with his product. And I was just like, oh man, maybe he can help. I hadn't talked to him in like 10 years. I rang him up and we're talking, and long story short, we start getting off he says, hey, why don't you do a YouTube show, man? Like Dean Martin, but you. And I'm like,
nice.
When we met each other originally, I used to sing a little bit. I don't do that anymore. So he's like, he was thinking in that regard, hey, do a Dean Martin show. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm old. Nobody cares about me singing. And he says, well, look, he goes, look, you do something, let me know, and I'll be your first sponsor. I said, all right, cool. And, that kind of stuck in my mind there for a little bit. So I started thinking, what do I know? What do I have? What could I possibly do? I've been in the business, food industry for 30 years, right? For 20 of them, I've been working with chefs. So I'm like, all right, I know a bunch of chefs, bunch of restaurants. Food is sexy. You know what? Maybe I can make a show, right? But I don't want it to be the standard show that's on TV all over the place. I want something a little bit different, And I was 10 years in actual restaurants, right? Front of the house, some back of the house, mostly front though. And, I was like, man, you know what? There's so much that happens in these buildings that most people don't have any idea, right? They don't know what the back of that. They don't know what goes on in the walk-in, in the kitchen, non-dining room space, right?
Yeah, the mystery of the back of the house.
Right. And so there's all these relationships between front of the house, back of the house, people getting reamed out in the cooler, getting promoted in the cooler, getting into fights and all that stuff that happens, right?
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can bring some of that to the table, to the viewing audience, right? Well, as it turns out, that's the foundation of the show.
Right.
Obviously we focus on the food. We're filming the chef. We're filming the food. We're filming the actual location. But then we have our walk-in confessions segment.
Love that. By
Yeah,
the way.
man, it's cool.
Love that.
Right?
Because that's where it all goes down.
It all goes down there. And it's usually a horror story. It's usually wrapped into some kind of a dumb, horrible, stupid thing that the average person has no idea that goes on. So, in that segment, we talk about, horrible things that happen in the business.
And it runs the gamut.
Yeah.
All restaurants.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it could be, lopping off a digit, or it could be like, hey, we did 700 covers last night, and it was just me and the busboy. Everybody else called out.
Right,
But
exactly.
we pulled it off. You know what I mean? It could be any story, but they're very interesting.
Yeah, no. I love that. And, that's what really makes that show, your show, that compelling, because people don't realize that. And when they do kind of like catch in, they get hooked onto the story because, I always say that cooks, we always get together, we sit around, on the line, and we save the world, we fix shit, we make it all right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that you actually decided to do a show that can kind of capture that image, and I've done your show, like you said, a couple times. Both times I was sharing stories that I had never really kind of like thought about or shared with people. But when you're like kind of put in a, in a position where you want to share that story, that freak ass fucking show.
Well, listen, man. I mean, at the end of the day, these are all the scenarios that built you into the person that you are. Even the ones that happened to people you worked with, right? Because you're still there.
Right.
Right?
Witness.
You're a witness to it, and therefore that was some Lego in your building block of what you are. You know what I mean? So
and I think guys like you, people like you, who are in the biz, and a lot of people call you chef. A lot of people want to call you chef. A lot of people want to expect you to be a chef because you're that connected. And when they see your show, and I have many different episodes, including my own many times, but
all
20,000
views were you.
Yeah, exactly. That's nice. I like that number. But the truth of the matter is that you are that connected that people call you chef, and people reach out to you, and they kind of like see you as being really in the biz, per se.
Yeah, well, so it's true. They on my social media, and damn near every time I have to like disclaimer. I'm like, no, I am not. I film chefs and their food, and we promote it, and it is definitely really cool. But no, I am not a chef, and I would never claim it. I respect the position, and you don't just get out of a culinary school and hey, I'm a chef. No, you gotta earn your stripes.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a tough time.
Yeah. So right.
That's
yeah. So me, I don't. Everybody always assumes, and I have to tell them no.
But you definitely have that connection, and you definitely
I'm part
speak
of
the language.
I'm part of the. I'm cut of the fabric of the food industry. My great grandfather was a chef. My grandfather owned a restaurant in New York. My father did. I grew up with all this stuff. Like I grew up in the business. I was doing all these things.
D'Italia, no?
Well, I'm a second generation Italian.
And as we all know
American
in the
Italian.
world, Italians are like food.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing that you don't say about Italia that does not say comida, food.
Everybody at least on the one side of my family, most everybody in my family can put it down in the kitchen.
And what's the other side of the family?
It's Italian both sides.
Oh, wow,
but
okay.
one side's a little bit less, skill set.
Yeah, that's good. And what part of Italy?
Naples.
Napoli.
Napoli.
Yeah.
Both sides going. I did what is that? The website.
Oh yeah. The whole.
What your history is, whatever it is.
Yeah, that thing.
That one.
I got it. My sister sent it to me 2 years ago. I never did it. It's crazy.
So I spent some time. This is like maybe a year or two ago. I put in some good hours into going back into the historical of the family, and I traced one vein back to the mid 1700s.
Wow,
really cool, and it's like you piece it together, man, and it goes way back. So it's pretty cool, but I haven't found anything that was non-Neapolitan in area.
Really?
I'm not saying it isn't out there, but whatever.
I mean, and then looking at you, I would say you're a northern Italian because you have these blue eyes.
The dark hair, the light eyes. I'm tall. Yeah, I get it, man.
But Napoli's Napoli.
Right. Well, listen, there's a lot of folks like that.
Yeah.
Over there.
I tell you what, I mean, since we've met, I mean, I've always seen you kind of like doing your thing. And at the same time, just pushing the show forward. And I have to say, dude, I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
The production level is great. And I think that the subject matter, I think what I love most, and we've already mentioned it, was the walk-in confessions. The rapid fire is rad. And I like the rapid fire. And I'll tell you why I like the rapid fire. Because if it's real, and it was for me when I did it, because I don't recall if you had present those questions.
Nope.
I don't think so.
No, we didn't.
And that's what I love, because it's real.
It was
deal.
impromptu.
It's real deal, and that's what I think. That's when chefs perform best.
And by the way, I don't send the questions.
Nice.
The truth is, a lot of the questions, the questions that I put out there I like them.
Right.
So I don't change them often. I mean, if people follow the show, then they'll probably know what's coming. But with that said, we don't really talk about it beforehand. It's all impromptu. I love what I'm doing right now, and it's like I said, the last 20 years I was in food service distribution. I was in produce, and I was very good at it, and moved up the ranks. Did well, man. It was good. And the opportunity came up for me to kind of to get into this from a whole different perspective, and actually kind of lift up my friends in the business.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't charge. We don't charge. I don't charge a dime.
Right.
To do what we're doing, and at this point, we're really fortunate because. So real fast, obviously, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Newsbreak. Which is a very large news app, right? Third largest distributor of news on the internet. It's huge.
Really? And it's food-driven, what you're doing.
Well, what I'm doing is food-driven. So they were following our YouTube channel.
Nice.
And then they contacted us and said, hey, would you like to do content creation for us? Sweet. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So as it turns out, we, on that platform, one episode will end up getting 20 to 30,000 views. I have some on there that are 80, 115,000 views. And then my YouTube is, we're talking 5, 10, 15, 20,000 views a clip. So, I mean, I'm putting out 50, 60,000 views a week.
Killer.
It's not bad. I mean, listen, I'm not a kid, right?
But you're good.
But how a year or 2 years ago, I'm like, yeah, YouTube doing this and people are going to watch it? No way.
You're a natural.
Whatever. Thank you. But no, at the end of the day, we're very fortunate. It's a blessing. And yeah, man, I'm going to tweak it a little bit too, man. I saw where there's opportunities our quality is great. I think our content is pretty solid. And now we're working on the flow of the actual episode. And I just think it's going to be badass. We're starting this week with some new with a new flow. So I'm excited.
So there you have it. I mean, listen to this. I mean, you're out there. You're a chef. You're listening to the podcast. You love to be a survival of the fittest to shore listener, and you get to meet Carl today. And the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, how do I get hold of Carl so that his group, him, start to, reach out and maybe showcase what I'm doing as a chef? That's what I'm talking about. Where can a young chef say, Carl, you need to see me. I'm a star, buddy.
So first thing I would do, I mean, I'm all over, meaning the show, we are all over the internet, okay? Nice. I'm also streaming. So the best thing to do is to go to my website, because from there, you can go anywhere you need to go, right? That's it. And the website's thewalkintalk.com. All right, just like I said it, like a walk-in cooler, talk.com, thewalkintalk.com.
All right. And there's no cooler than you, my friend. I'm telling you straight up.
Oh, come on.
I mean,
man.
You know what? I think I may have a bro crush on you, and all because you're that good.
I'm not going to say this is the first time that's happened.
I know.
But hey, man, listen, look, first of all, I appreciate you having me out here. Good luck on the show. It's still relatively new.
Yeah, it's new.
And it is pretty cool. I told you before, I legit listened to about 5 or 6 episodes.
Thank you.
Right? And obviously on the way here, I listened to the most recent one. And you know what, man? It's pretty straight. I'll definitely. So what I'm going to do with this, once we get it back from Mr. Ricky, I'll take it. I'll slap it on the website, and I'll promote it on the socials.
Right on.
Right. And listen, Facebook, Newsbreak, YouTube, all that stuff. Go to my website, and you can find us there. Whatever, and streaming too. I'm on Roku, Android TV. We're on the Amazon app. In about 2 months, I'll have Apple TV as well. Hashtag Netflix. Come see me, man. Come talk.
There you go. Netflix, you heard it, huh? Hashtag. All right, that's the real deal. All right, one last thing before we go.
Yes.
Go-to recipe for you, like just what do you like to cook for people? And it's like, Carl, what are you cooking? What is it?
So if my wife is hearing this, she's rolling her eyes and she's like, "I'm not cooking anything." You know what I mean? Like, we're going out to eat. We are going out to eat. But for me, I'm gonna say simple stuff. Rigatoni, homemade sauce, that kind of stuff. Sausage,
Italiano, huh?
Yep. If you're going go-to, yes, that's
nice.
what I'm doing.
I like
Grandma's recipe, by the way. True story.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Walk and Talk. Look for it. YouTube. You heard the website. Carl Fiadini. Fiadini. Dímelo de nuevo.
Quema.
That's the good life, ladies and gentlemen. This is Survival of the Fittest. This is Super Show. I'm Chef Roberto Trevino. I'm here with Carl Fiadini.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, brother. All the best. We love what you're doing. We love what you're doing.
All
and
right.
There's no doubt about that. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you soon, and keep on surviving. Thank you.